lazima abuniwe tume. Lazima abuniwe tume. Oh. Sheria. Mwananchi, tabia zako ziko chini, unapenda kulipa hongo na kutumia njia za uongo, una mipango na hata watoto wa kando, haujui hata majina yao. Kura yako uliuza maini figo, ukakulia hadi dini, kisha wasema tukuthamini, na wewe hapo hauaminiki, na wewe hapo haupangiki.
Wapi kidero when you need to slap somebody? Complain ufisadi, kwani ulidhani t-shirt 50 bob leso siku ya campaign ilikuwa free? Ni 5-year loan investment, utalipa kingia parliament. We are one, amani we are one. Na utumishi kwa wote, utu missing CCTV we were watching. Racial insecurity na job opportunity ni kama mti ya kibiriti. Side moja heavy, usiniambie Kenya kuna umaskini, kwani hizi fat fingers zinaibia nane? Maskando inatuleta wa survival. Media define leadership, na sura ukiaka front page na improve readership. Ambia wase wa Twitter wa hashtag hii ama #reality doesn't make a good TT. Commission of inquiry wanakula commission bila kutupa ukweli, ni kubaya. Baka kukiwa kuzuri unashindwa nini mbaya. Machozi ya perpetrator ineza dilute damu ya victim ilimwagika. After all is said and done, all will be said, nothing will be done. You're not my tribe, but you're my blood type. Like it doesn't have to take tragedy to know that.
Sheria.
Well. It's your favorite day of the week, Monday. And why is it your favorite day of the week? Because you get to listen to your favorite person in the world, which is me and Flozy here in studio. Welcome to Sheria Day right here on Pawa Radio. And today I'm angry. Nimejam manze. And we're going to be talking about why are we angry? Why are we angry? You know? And what should we do with that anger? But of course, welcome to the show. It's always so lovely just to have your audience. Remember, we like to hear from you, so you can reach out to us on the YouTube live chat function, or you might just reach us as well on the socials at Pawa Radio, at James K. WaNjeri, and we're going to be able to answer some of your questions. Today we're talking about contempt of court. There is a problem. There's a problem in Kenya. Tuambiane ukweli. We're going to speak the truth. There's a problem in this country when it comes to obeying court orders. And perhaps the question I need to ask is, can you and I also decide not to obey court orders? You know? That option does not exist for people like you and I. Is that the case? That's what we're going to be talking about today. As I give you a report on the latest that is happening in the High Court with regards to one Mr. Gilbert Masengeli, who is the acting. This guy is even acting. He's not even the real deal. He's the acting Inspector General of Police, who decided that going to, was it Wajir or Mandera, was more important than appearing in court to answer for contempt. And the thing that gets me angry is that the reason for the contempt is that 3 young people were abducted by police, and it's been more than 21 days later and they have not been produced. We don't know where they are. They could be dead for as Guys, this is frustrating. The reason for the contempt is that the police are refusing to release 3 young people that they arrested in a country where when the police arrest you, they need to present you before court within 24 hours. It's been more than 21 days. Let's get some music. What exactly is contempt? You know, in this show, the beauty is we are not taking anything for granted. We are not taking it for granted that everyone understands what contempt of court is and what is actually the effect of that on our society and on democracy and the rule of law. This is Sheria Dive right here on Power Radio.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa Hadija ai Nani especially ukisonga Na nimesha shindwa kuponga Sweetie walai Ukienda mbali I miss you stronger You're my lady
Dim the lights panda juu Meremeta star Nitavunjika mguu Nikikupanda Starstruck you're my muse Twinkle little star Wonder what you are
The way you whine girl your waist give me goosebumps ooh Spiritual things what you do Vitu unafanya unani weekend juju Ni voodoo Can you be my somebody Show that to lean on hardy Yeso warudiki yama Shafanya uamuzi yama Kipasi saka tarumba Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Money especially ukisaka Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Unanifanya nisikie
Tunaka kitu kuniliko Si uniharibu nipeleke Puerto Rico Soy uno elefante te quiere tu cuerpo Trompeto tocando melodías en tu cuerpo Akiwa laina jua kile nasema Nasikia unakuwaga na mwenyewe Mr. Sema Na ukiniagizia nipewe si nitadema After nimalizane na wewe si utahema
Nani Hadija ai Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa Na nimesha shindwa kuponga Sweetie walai Ukienda mbali I miss you stronger You're my lady Money especially ukisaka Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Money especially ukisaka Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa
Breathe girl, wachilia waist trainer Playlist ya 90s, ni adjust lighting Fat dress, apana ngara tight jeans Mansa kwa thirsty, oh lord of mercy You had me, nataka kandarasi Did you know that your toes can curl? Night nurse, I'm ready for your curse Bad girl, come share my wall
Baru na wewe Nani especially ukisaka Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Nani especially ukisaka Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Saka tarumba Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa Hadija ai Nani especially ukisonga Na nimesha shindwa kuponga Sweetie walai Ukienda mbali I miss you stronger You're my lady
From Radio. So fresh is on the beat.
Another day, another crisis. Keyboard warrior still typing. Mini lava siku hizi spendi fighting. Na maheta hawawezi ntoa timing. Na hata wakinita guide, I know my baby will be by me. Na wakiniseti kwa IG, dawa ya watiaji huwanga silence. Niko sherehe mina vibe, nanyi munani analyze. Who I wonder why, me I'm just tryna catch a wine. We shughulika na your life. Niko sherehe mina vibe, nanyi munani analyze. Who I wonder why, I'm just tryna catch a wine. We shughulika na your life. Cheki zangu zimenai. Don't you disrespect my lover. Sina number my guy. Tonight I don't want no drama. Sina number my guy. Chaber dongingero anahero gasianda. Sina number my guy. Leo ni party hadi mchana. Sina number my guy. Sherehe na piganga na kikosi. Kwa mfuko pesa haikosi. Mademu wananitanga kiongozi. Vile mimi hutesanga Nairobi. Sele zimeripoti. Chini tuko kwa magoti. Aki wewe usinirekodi. Kesho nipate mmesha niposti. Niko sherehe mina vibe. Nanyi munani analyze. Who I wonder why, me I'm just tryna catch a wine. We shughulika na your life. Niko sherehe mina vibe. Nanyi munani analyze. Ooh, I wonder why, I'm just tryna catch a wine. We shughulika na your life. Cheki zangu nice. Don't you disrespect my lover. Sina number my guy. Tonight I don't want no drama. Sina number my guy. Chaber dongingero anahero gasianda. Sina number my guy. Leo ni party hadi mchana. Sina number my guy. Sina noma. Sina number my guy. Sina noma. Sina number my guy. Sina number my guy. Chaper dongingero anahero gasianda. Sina number my guy.
Welcome back. This is Sheria right here on Power Radio, and we're talking about contempt of court. What exactly are we talking about when we are mentioning this thing of contempt? All right. Now, in essence, contempt is a conduct or action that defies or disrespects the authority of the court. And in essence, it's just about despising the court. Okay? Madharau. Okay? You defy the authority of the court. Remember, the court has authority. Those of you who have been to court, you know that where the judge sits, just above him or her is the coat of arms. And people bow in court. You're not bowing to the judge. You're actually bowing to the coat of arms that is up there. The court has authority. Otherwise, if we treated the court as if anything the court says is a suggestion, then why would someone take you to court and then get a judgment against you? Why should that bother you if it's just a suggestion, right? So, the courts in Kenya have actually held that it is essential for the maintenance of the rule of law and order. And you know, rule of law, by rule of law, we are simply saying there is either rule of law or rule by men. Rule of law suggests that we are all under the law. No one is above the law, which means the law becomes the thing that guides us, the thing that rules over us. But when it becomes ruled by men, then it means that there are some who are above others. Those of you who've read the Animal Farm, you remember all animals are the same, but some animals are more equal than others. All right? So, rule of law is the idea that all of us, starting from the president, the child who's just been born now, we are all under the law and we are all bound to obey the law. Okay? But then what happens when there is deliberate disobedience of court orders? What happens to the judge who issues a court order and then nothing is done? On the 19th of August, 3 gentlemen were taken, and I use that word intentionally, were taken by the police in Kitengela. These three gentlemen were being taken at a time when they were actually part of the people being accused of fomenting the protests that were occurring in the Kitengela area at around that time, and also previously when we were talking about the finance bill. Jamil Longton Hashim and Aslam Longton are brothers. They were arrested by the police together with Mr. Bob Mishemi Njagi. Bob Njagi is an advocate of the High Court. They were taken and put into a Subaru, a police Subaru, and they have never been seen since. Now, Kenya's constitution requires that when you are arrested by the police, you have to be released within 24 hours, or you're taken before a court of law to answer to the charges that the police are holding you for within 24 hours. Anything beyond that becomes a question of detention without trial. The Constitution of Kenya has been set up in a way that detention without trial should never ever happen in this country. When the families of Jamil Longton Hashim, Aslam Longton, and Bob Mishemi Njagi could not find them, they went to the police stations, they were not there. They went to the hospitals, they were not there. They went to the mortuary, they were not there. So they went to court and filed what we call a habeas corpus application. And basically the idea for habeas corpus is that it translates directly to the statement, release the body. This is a relief that is available to those whose family members, for instance, have been taken by the police, and where you believe that the state is responsible for the disappearance of a person, and you go before the court to tell the court, ask the police to release the body. Let the person be released. The Law Society of Kenya helped the families of Jamil Longton Hashim, Aslam Longton, and Bob Mishemi Njagi to file a habeas corpus application. That application mentioned the Inspector General of Police as a party to it because all police units report to the Inspector General. The High Court of Kenya, sitting in Nairobi, then issued court orders requiring that Jamil Longton Hashim, Aslam Longton, and Bob Mishemi Njagi be produced and brought to court. And so the dance began. From the first order that was issued, the Inspector General of Police failed to honor those orders of the court. After failing to honor those orders about 2 or 3 times, the court then demanded that the Inspector General of Police himself be summoned to come to court and explain why they were not carrying out the orders of the court. Now, you need to realize that at the moment, Kenya does not have an appointed Inspector General of Police. We have Mr. Gilbert Masengeli, who is an acting Inspector General of Police. He's in an acting capacity. He defied those orders. The court then asked him for the second time to come. He defied those orders. Last week on Friday, the Attorney General's office sent a representative to court who said that Mr. Masengeli was unable to come to court because he had a work engagement that was keeping him away. Indeed, shortly thereafter, photos of him in Mombasa at a workshop were shared. Now, the Office of the Attorney General gave a commitment that on Monday, which is today, Mr. Gilbert Masengeli would be presented in court or would present himself in court. However, today, Mr. Masengeli was nowhere to be seen. As the court sat with an order that had summoned him and an order that required him to be present, he was not there. Instead, he sent his assistant to represent him. It's preposterous. How is it that we live in a country like this? And when the Office of the Attorney General was asked, you told us on Friday that this guy would be here. So why is he not here? They then went ahead to give another excuse that he was handling some government work all the way in Kenya's northern areas. Now, believe it or not, a few minutes after that statement had been made, on Twitter or on X, the National Police Service, at about 1:09 p.m., then posted a message, and the message said, Acting Inspector General Masengeli on security assessment of Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa counties. The acting IG, Mr. Gilbert Masengeli, is in Mandera Police Station meeting with National Police Service officers. He earlier made a stop in Wajir. The acting Inspector General, who is accompanied by the DCI, Mr. Mohammed Amin, and the GSU Commandant, Mr. Ranson Lolmodoni, is conducting a security assessment of the operational areas including Wajir, Mandera, and Garissa counties this week, following the recent probing attacks in the security camps. The latest being yesterday's probing incident by suspected militia at Korof Harar. Then they went ahead to post his photo. Today, Justice Mugambi of the High Court of Kenya, sitting in Nairobi, found Mr. Masengeli to be in contempt of court. His punishment will be read out on Friday. But perhaps there's a bigger question that we need to answer as a country. At what point did it become okay to treat court pronouncements and the orders of the court as mere suggestions? At what point did we, as a country, accept this type of behavior? The most shocking bit about it is that this behavior is actually being carried out or it's being perpetrated by security personnel. These are people with guns. Do not forget that it is just a few months ago that a police officer walked into a court in Makadara and shot a magistrate point blank, killing her. A few weeks later, police were shooting live rounds at protesters in the Finance Bill protests and the Occupy Parliament protests. To date, we have lost over 60 Kenyans at the hands of police brutality. Countless have been maimed, countless have been injured. Many more have gone missing without a trace. The police do not obey court orders. So how did we get here? How did we get here? And what can actually be done? Now, this may look like it's a thing that is only bothering us, and we're making a mountain out of a molehill. But the Supreme Court of India says the following about disobeying court orders. It says, disobedience of this court's order strikes at the very root of the rule of law on which the judicial system rests. The rule of law is the foundation of a democratic society. The judiciary is a guardian of the rule of law. Hence, it is not only the third pillar, but also the central pillar of the democratic state. If the judiciary is to perform its duties and functions effectively and remain true to the spirit with which they are sacredly entrusted to it, the dignity and the authority of the courts have to be respected and protected at all costs. Otherwise, the very cornerstone of our constitutional scheme will give way, and with it will disappear the rule of law and the civilized life in the society. That is why it is imperative and invariable that court orders are to be followed and complied with. So, when you disobey the courts in Kenya have actually held that a contempt of court is an offense of a criminal character. It's a criminal offense. A man may be sent to prison. So how do we send the Inspector General of Police to prison, a place that is reserved for criminals? Yet this is the person that is given the responsibility to hold a gun on behalf of the state and on behalf of the citizens for protection. Is this conduct something that should worry us even as we look at 2027, which is just around the corner? Not forgetting the role that the police played in 2007 when police were used to kill countless Kenyans during a political context. How did we get here? It's time for us to ask serious questions as a country, where we are headed, and the threat of lawlessness, and what this does to the foundations of our democracy. If the law can be ignored, then it means it has only become an opinion. And perhaps it's time to remind ourselves of what the Constitution of Kenya says. Because it seems that many people actually forget that we have a constitution in this country, especially those that are in power. The Constitution of Kenya is very clear at Article 1 that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with this Constitution. Is that power being exercised in accordance with this Constitution when we have the Inspector General of Police blatantly, arrogantly, clearly disobeying court orders? That's the question.
Pawa Radio. Tune in and power up.
Kosa si kosa, makosa ni kurudia. Pole sana kama umevumilia, tulikosana, nikaomba ungenirudia, ukanikana hadharani mbele ya dunia.
Beti lichomeka, zima moto hawakusaidia, ndege ya vieta kianguka hawakunyambia, saizi liona na sikufuatilia, jirani alikuteka, mali yangu wakanikulia. Ni sawa,
umeniacha nimeachika, ni sawa, ningenyamaza yote tisa, but for you, is that who you have picked over me? Umeniacha nimeachika, ni sawa.
uko sure ndo mwenye unataka, uko sure
Ni sawa,
uko sure unaweza sema with your chest, uko sure.
but for you, is that who you have picked over me? Umeniacha nimeachika, ni sawa, ni sawa, ni sawa.
Nomba on your wedding day, stima zipote, upate fat fingers, ringi sitoshe. Your boyfriend akubaye kadogi ukidhani nika cute kakuume. Mother-in-law na father-in-law wakuchukie wakikuona. Unadhani yeni catch kumbe yeni spam donor. Yoni nini unabonya? My lord, I wonder, but as long as you're happy when wependa kenye unapenda imeenda.
Ni sawa, umeniacha nimeachika ni sawa. Ningenyamaza yote tisa, but for it, is that who you have picked over me? Umeniacha nimeachika ni sawa.
Uko sure yo ndo mwenye unataka? Uko sure?
Ni sawa.
Uko sure unaweza sema with your chest? Uko sure?
But for it, is that who you have picked over me? Umeniacha nimeachika ni sawa.
Whoa, yeah, whoa, yeah. Humble boy over here. Check it, yeah. Love is a verb, love is a verb, love is not a word. But sure, I love you when I mean as much. In my heart it's true, it's easier to fall in love, but harder to find somebody to catch you. I'll do the honors, let me be the one who can lift you up, now bado will hold you down. This feeling that you give me is a word I can't pronounce. If there's the price to have it, then I pay any amount. Iko nini, mwanaume akipenda ashapenda. Nibange tangu nenge wendo wako very tender. Asana ni tricky after life bado together. Nafunga rona meza key, immediately you enter, stay with me. I got grand plans for us, tupendane till the put hands down for us. Every time that you around me, I can feel the rush. I mean, love has a meaning cause it means so much, baby.
Donga woro hera mani mia. Toto safi ine mara. Wanifurahisha sana mama. Obongo nyakalaga. Donga woro hera mani mia. Toto safi ine mara. Wanifurahisha sana mama. Kakihera mami ndo maana niko hapa, wakiuliza nani don dada. Niko hapa, kakihera mami ndo maana niko hapa, wakiuliza nani don dada. Niko hapa,
Wendo wako ni wako, love's in love without you. I wanna see you and touch you. She loves in love without you. Now that we found love, tell me what are we gonna do with it? Tukatane katikati ama vipi? Chukua yangu nipe yako, let me keep it forever. Now that we found love, tell me what are we gonna do with it? Tukatane katikati ama vipi? Chukua yangu nipe yako, let me keep it forever. Swear that I'ma put a ring on it cause me I like it. Bibi mzuri uneza tena bwana yake. Wacha wapendane mapenzi na raha zake. Finally I found the love that I've been searching for.
Obongo nyakalaga. Donga woro hera mani mia. Toto safi ine mara. Wanifurahisha sana mama. Abongo nyakalaga. Donga woro hera mani mia. Toto safi ine mara. Wanifurahisha sana mama. Kakihera mami ndo maana niko hapa, wakiuliza nani don dada. Niko hapa, kakihera mami ndo maana niko hapa, wakiuliza nani don dada. Niko hapa,
Wendo wako ni wako, love's in love without you. I wanna see you and touch you. Your love's in love without you. Wendo wako ni wako, love's in love without you. I wanna see you and touch you. Your love's in love without you.
patience anymore. Wemaliza acha story, I won't give you my time like before. Kwa nini hukusema hata sorry? Ulienda ulidhani hutapitia, so kwa nini unaniletea ngori? Achia mapenzi wenye wanaelewa, and let me focus on my glory. Mwanzo sikuelewi, alafu mi sikujui. Mwanzo mi sikupendi na tena mi sikutambui. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Staki mimi drama, staki kuziona macho zako zikinitazama. Salimia mama, alafu umwambie mtoto wake ni hasara. Wanaita karma, imekuwaje sani wewe umeshikilia kamba, na dunia imekufunza, na ukirudi hapa tena utapata nimehama. Mwanzo sikuelewi, alafu mi sikujui. Mwanzo mi sikupendi na tena mi sikutambui. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. I was there all along, and you couldn't wait to move on. And I don't know what more I could have done. Look what you've become, feeling so alone. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii. Sitaki, siendi, sifanyi, sisikii.
Siski, I guess that's what people in government are saying. Our ski court orders. Now, guys, it may look like we are making a big deal out of this, but let me actually take you a trip down memory lane. All right. Now, in the year 2019, Chief Justice David Maraga issued a statement. And in that statement, he warned that disobeying a court order was not only a violation of the Constitution, but it was also a dereliction of public duty. This is what he said. He said, courts are temples of justice and the places of refuge for those seeking protection. They must never be despoiled, either through acts of physical transgressions or blatant disregard of their pronouncements. Indeed, he noted that there had been worrying developments in the administration of justice that threatened the rule of law. The recent disregard of court orders is an act that is not only inimical to the rule of law, but is also completely at odds with Kenya's constitutional outlook. At that time, the Law Society was in court seeking to understand why the government was not obeying court orders. There was even talk of disbarring the Attorney General at the time, who was former Justice Kihara Kariuki. Now, let's look at some of the cases. In the case of Miguna, you'll remember that Miguna was deported out of Kenya on the claim that his citizenship had expired when he got the citizenship of Canada. The court issued orders that Miguna be allowed into the country since he had filed a case in court. Justice John Mativo at the time noted that several orders directing the government to facilitate Dr. Miguna's return had been disobeyed. And while the government had been told exactly what to do, they refused to do it. In December of 2018, Justice Chacha Mwita had directed the government to return Dr. Miguna's passport, but it later emerged that it had been perforated. These guys took his passport and perforated it, which meant he had to apply for a new one. All right? Now, we have the case of Air Force Commander Peter Kariuki. Peter Kariuki obtained orders from the High Court of Kenya which compelled the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, the Defense Principal Secretary, the Chief of Staff of the Defense Forces, and the Air Force Commander to restore his rank, honor, and decoration. As of 2020, it had been 6 years since those orders were issued. Those people were yet to comply with the directive. Even the military of Kenya was disobeying court orders. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a reality. This is the reality of the country we are living in. Okay, let's see. Jeremiah Wata Barasa was a National Youth Service official who fell into a ditch and injured himself while on duty. He got court orders directing the Director General of the NYS and the Devolution Principal Secretary to pay him 3.6 million. Mr. Barasa is yet to be paid to date. No reason has been given. None has been given why he's not been paid. There has been a sustained attempt over the course of time, over the last few years, where the government, all arms of government, blatantly ignore and disobey court orders. And people have spoken about it, people have said this cannot happen, but it has all fallen on deaf ears. The people who had the responsibility to do the right thing did not do the right thing. All right, let's see. Another decision was issued. In 2021, the Ministry of Health had directed that citizens were required to show proof of vaccination against COVID-19 as a prerequisite to access government and some private services. The constitutionality of that directive was challenged before the High Court, and the High Court issued interim orders suspending that ministerial directive. However, the government chose to ignore the court order. They started by saying that to get the vaccination, it is optional. You can't be forced, right? But then they said, if you have not been vaccinated, you're not going to get government services. So we must not look at the question of Mr. Masengeli, as one case. This is a clear example of something that has been building over time. A level of contempt for court orders, a level of contempt for the law, for the Constitution, that continues to be propagated by those in positions of authority. And the worst thing is that disobedience of court orders can actually have the court declare you as unfit to hold public office, which means you will never ever hold public office again in Kenya because of those actions. But we all know, people do not just make these decisions by themselves. Recently, Even the Energy, and Petroleum Regulation Authority, EPRA, disobeyed court orders when it came to introducing a levy. These people are not just disobeying the court orders. They're not just disobeying the law arbitrarily. It might appear like that to us, but the reality is you can only do that when you know you are properly protected. And maybe the question should be, who is this that is protecting people who are disobeying the law, who are violating the law? Who is it? And why are they doing it? We are looking at 2027 that is coming up. And maybe the question we need to ask ourselves is, for a long time we've believed that once the court makes a decision, that decision works. We have to remember we also have a president who admitted on live TV that he almost slapped his then president who thought of stepping down from power after the Supreme Court had overturned his win. That we can look forward to 2027 with a lot of confidence. For the rule of law in any country to be established, court orders have to be followed. Because we might wake up tomorrow and find everyone has decided to take the law into their own hands. And at that point, maybe the question will be, what then happens? What happens when we become a lawless society where no one listens to anyone or anything and they do whatever they want? Food for thought.
Power Radio. Tune in and power up.
GL.
Nani cheesy kama yeah. I've been faded, I've been naked, in different places, many faces, X-rated, yeah. I've been patient, I've been waiting. No other one that's come around can do the things you do. Bookie come around, we smoke a lot, Canadian pot, cheese and bomb. Catch a wine, dance along, bounce along, baby, bounce along. Wine and dine, made your mind, it's a clear sign that no other one that's come around can do the things you do. Nobody else can match my energy. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. We up all night and still we try to be busy on the AM. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. Oh yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah.
I've been faded, serenaded, celebrated. Ooh, very patient. See, I'm not so complicated. Kakwama on my mind, your toes are juicy, align. Moyo kapiga sign, kisha underline. Only free because you let me be. That's the love I want from me. Long time was so baridi. Can't deny the chemistry. Ukakwama on my mind. Tuka alive. Tuka bigger sign.
Nobody else can match my energy. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. We up all night and still we tryna be busy on the AM. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. Oh yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah. Cheesy come on, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are almost coming to the end of this show. And as I told you, there are things that just rile me up. Now, there's a gentleman who wrote about how do you know when a society is about to collapse? All right? There's a book known as The Collapse of Complex Societies. And the writer says, civilizations are fragile, impermanent things, distinctly minor concern in the social sciences. The reality is that we actually never know the moment when things started breaking until they've broken. But fortunately for you and I, we have the ability to learn from the mistakes of the past and to learn from how other societies have collapsed and what has caused the collapse of those societies. And we do not need to even look far. Kenya has a neighbor, Somalia, a country that for over 30 years has never known peace, has never experienced proper peace, a country that is always at war. And it all starts with defying the law. We also have our neighbor, Uganda, a country that has only enjoyed relative peace because keen readers of history will remember the coups that occurred in Uganda, the Obote and Idi Amin days. Then perhaps we can go a bit south to Rwanda, where one day a group of people decided that this other group of people is not worthy being in the same society as ours. And at the end of it, over 1 million people had died. What about the north in Sudan? That society has collapsed. Kenya is held together by citizens who love and appreciate the law. And that's why on the 4th of August 2010, they voted overwhelmingly for the new constitution. And they said, this is a law that will hold us together. This is a law we will operate under. We gifted ourselves the constitution. It's time for us to defend that constitution. Because when societies begin to disintegrate and to fall, it always starts with small actions by small men and women. And before you know it, the actions become too big, protected by big men and women. And in the end, it's a small man and woman who suffers from that effect. Kenya is bigger than any of us. And we are all under the Constitution of Kenya. No one is above it. That's the country we need to fight for. This has been Sheria Dive right here on Pawa Radio with me, James WaNjeri. Thank you for joining us. See you on Saturday, same place, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Have a lovely week.
From sunrise to sunset, all day and night. Pawa Radio.
Touch the fire, and you know it's not
we're moving to Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Yeah, 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 yeah. Rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh, Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion, to Zion, to Zion, to Zion. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Steady rocking on the midnight train. Oh Lord, steady rocking on the midnight train. To Zion.